in spite of it. We know
Okay,
it's
I can
there,
accept that answer.
but we know how to
I can
move.
accept that answer. So then essentially what you're saying is that when black people experience obstacles, it's white supremacy. Because from my understanding, all people experience obstacles on any chosen path,
Dude, there's nothing that's
hold on,
100% of nothing.
whether it be resources, whether it be competition, whether it be backstabbers, whether it be the land mass, whether it be skin color, whether it be language barrier, whether it be culture, whether it be not having the right network. As far as I'm concerned, all human beings experience obstacles. So why is it that the obstacles that black people experience are classified specifically as white supremacy, but the obstacles that other people experience isn't classified as white supremacy? Because if a white person experiences obstacles, then what supremacy is to blame for that?
Can I answer that, Three, if that's okay?
Yeah, go ahead,
Hold on, why
Okay,
you keep
so this is
saying
what
No, man.
I want to answer. Let me hold on. I don't want because it becomes argumentative, and I think he's not giving specific examples. So the specific example where white supremacy, because classism is born through racism. It's the way to be able to overshadow people who are non-black people. Well, okay, so you wanted to know how white supremacy affects black people. Socioeconomics.
No, that's not what
Brett,
I asked. You're
No.
changing the question. I did not want to know how white supremacy affects black people, because then you guys can be
oh, I
vague.
apologize.
I want to know
I heard you wrong.
specifically. Hold on, no. I want you to understand the question. I want to know specifically in your individual lives, what can white people do? And so what does white supremacy allow white people to do that you cannot do because of white supremacy?
Okay, so white supremacy allows white people to be able to move in a neighborhood and get an appraisal on a house differently than what that appraisal would grant me based on the house being the same. There have been case studies done to prove this. I am also, before y'all jump down my throat, a homeowner. Well, I sold my house, but I've bought a house before. So white supremacy based on redlining and other factors hold black people back further away from the goalpost of generational wealth by denying them in the way that they appraise their homes. Even as so much as so is giving insight to your client as a realtor to say,
Okay.
hey, make sure you take those pictures down in your house because they're going to get it differently. So that's one specific way that it has affected me because I'm a homeowner.
Okay. So you're saying
Socioeconomically,
price gouging. You're saying price gouging is white supremacy.
no, I am saying that systematically denying a person based on race
Okay.
access to more money
Okay.
is systematic racism.
So let me respond to your first point before you go to another point. Okay. So let's reverse the situation. Let's say I'm a black landowner, and I'm looking for tenants to live in my building that's in the most black neighborhood in Brooklyn. It's the most black neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I'm a black landowner. Now, if I was to give preferential rent to other black people, like let's say I were to give preferential rent to other blacks, that would then mean how that would then defy that white supremacy exists, because that what you're talking about is nepotism, right? So black people also have the power to do that same thing, which is they also have the power to cut better deals and redline as well. And so because black people have the power to do it as well, you can't call that white supremacy, because it's not a power that only white people have.
Aisha, hold on.
Let me finish. Hold on.
2 seconds.
It's a strategy. Hold on. It's a strategy that maybe mostly white people currently use, but it's not a strategy that only white people have access to. So meaning if you own land, you can choose to rent it to only black people. You can choose to rent it to black people at a lower price. If you want to do that, that's in your right. So that's not something that only white people can do. So that can't be white supremacy. Now, is that a little unfair? Is that a little unfair? Hold on. Now, is that a little unfair? Yes. Is that discriminatory? Yes. Is that white supremacy? No.
This is why I asked you, Clout. And I'm not an FBA. I just found out what that was like 2 days ago, so I won't discredit it or deny it. What I will say is this is why I asked if you were American, because the nuances that while I agree with True, and I think y'all have agreed on points, he has a different understanding. than all of us, but we all have a foundational understanding based on being Black in America what systematic racism is. Whereas, yes, you could be prejudiced, yes, you could be discriminatory, but systematic racism is based on who has the power in the dominant society and who pulls that power and utilizes that power as a tool to hold other people back. So if I decide to rent to 10 Black people versus black people making a decision in this country doesn't affect white people based on power dynamics the way that it does white people, which creates supremacy. The supreme
That's
high hold, I got you. Hold on.
Mhm.
That creates supremacy. The understanding of what supremacy is that it affects every single part of us, where we get to live, how what the things that we have to do to get the to get to live there, where we get to get our education. It does not stop education, but it does disassemble a community to make sure that they don't get taxpayer
Right.
dollars to fund into that school.
Correct.
It does
Hold
make
on,
sure
let me
it
respond
hold
to
on.
that one thing. Hold on,
Can I
because you're
just
going
get
into
Hold on, man.
another
Y'all
before
gotta
you
shut Cloud.
you're going
You
into
gotta shut
another
the mic.
point, Danielle, and I just want to
You gotta
address
shut the
that.
mic, Cloud.
Cloud, give me 2 seconds,
Go ahead. Okay.
please. It also says that systematic racism represents in that community that affects that system of a school for children and their education is basically giving out loans and grants to people who are not of that community to exploit it. So that means that an Asian, a Arab, and a Jewish person will be incentivized via grants and loans to exploit that community to make sure that they don't enter the supremacy community and exploit that money, which means that Black people are being robbed and discriminated against and experiencing racism in 2 ways. First way is you are letting people that are not in our culture, incentivizing people that are not in our culture, sell goods and services in our culture. The second part is you are then incentivizing them being able to build their culture on our back, which is so much similar to the other part of America, which is how America is founded. They used us as a tool to build wealth and then built their own community in their own wealth. So
Well,
Asian Americans get to sell products and goods to to our community and then build their own. Arabs get to sell products and goods and service to our culture,
okay.
expending from the $1.2 trillion spending power. Hold on.
I just want an
Expending from,
opportunity to respond.
hold, I'm almost done. If my people, I'm talking about Black Americans, have $1.2 trillion in spending power, and you seeing other generations, to Amir's point, in 2, 3 generations, they're better off, which says one thing. They are being able to exploit and access our money through systematic oppression tools.